Hey boys, welcome back to the channel where we're going to be discussing the Australian v Fiji game. Uploading this video going to be a couple of days after the actual performance, but I still want to talk about the main games. I just didn't get a chance because YouTube was being so slow last night, so I didn't have time to record this video. But let's get into it. So Australia beating Fiji 42 points to 8. Again, the scoreline blew out a bit. I thought Fiji were pretty good. It was a solid game. I think the quality wasn't great. Like the opening two games, let's be real, weren't the best start to the World Cup if we're being honest. But I'm gonna say straight off the bat here, Fiji, they've got to be the most disappointing team this year in the World Cup, right? Like, not in terms of performance. Like, they might still go pretty well, and I still think they got a good team on paper and some very good players. But man, I was so looking forward to Fiji. They had such a their team could have been so good, but so many of their players got ruled out. Both the Fiji brothers, obviously Wanga Blake's not there, Ravalara, the Sims brothers. I know Tarek Sims pulled out. I think Corbin Sims is still in the squad, maybe. I'm not actually too sure, but I think there's a couple others as well. It's so disappointing. They could have had such a good team. Honestly, their team would have rivaled, in my opinion, potentially like Samoa and Tonga, just with their physicality and some of their outside backs. But yeah, unfortunately not the case. Because, I mean, you throw it like Coruscant, Kickout, Mike Acevo, the young gun Taruva from the Panthers, like they could have been, oh man, they could have had a team. But you know, regardless, I still think they can do some good stuff. Australia, I mean, Australia were never going to lose this game if we're being honest. They were definitely scrappy, and you know, quite a lot of errors from both teams again. Like people have been pretty harsh on a few players, and also the scrappiness. You got to remember, like it's been a long time between drinks for most of these players. Obviously, just the grand finalists played a couple of weeks ago, but still, like they've been not. You know, they would have had a good week or so celebrating, the Panthers guys and probably the Eels players as well. The rest of the comp, they haven't played for like 6-7 weeks, and there's gonna be some you know, just some scratchiness, and also the conditions. Like it's obviously very slippery, very, yeah. I gotta be honest, England's not the greatest conditions for rugby league, especially playing all the games at night, which is a little bit, I don't know. I would love some day games, but unfortunately they're all night fixtures. So well, I don't know if they're all night fixtures going forward, but obviously the wet conditions, or at least slippery conditions, make it not quite as fluid, and a few errors. But let's crack into the game as a whole here. We'll go through the Australian lineup. I think the Australian lineup can be stronger for sure. They obviously were resting the main Panthers contingent. It's going to be interesting. You know, the debate of Cleary v Cherry Evans. Again, everyone's bagging on Cherry Evans after this game. I thought he was fine. Like, he wasn't at his absolute best, but you know, I do think the Munster Cleary combo is probably the strongest going forward. But you know, I think Cherry Evans can be as good as Cleary. I'll say it. People have been I don't know. People go crazy. I mean, can we just go back to Origin for a second? But well, let's go through. James Tedesco, very good. You know, just does what he does best. Adokar, Murray Tuolangi. Tuolangi was really good on debut. He did go off for a spell. I think he must have gone off like for a bit. Jack Wine came on into the centres, and Holmes went on to the wing. Obviously, you know, just giving him a rest, probably trying some different combinations. But I thought Tuolangi was really good. Adokar obviously was sensational, very, very good. Holmes and Mitchell, really good centre combo. I think this is their strongest combo. I know they have Campbell Graham in the squad. Obviously, Jack Wyden is on the bench, who could go into starting centre, but I think Holmes and Mitchell are their strongest centre pairing. I mean, Holmes is just so good. He's so quick. He's so quick off the mark. Every time he gets the dummy half and goes, it just creates a quick play the ball on the back of that. And then obviously Mitchell, you know, they didn't get him involved as much as they probably should in the future, but he had some nice touches and looked very, very strong when he did get involved. Cameron Munster, he did get player of the match, I saw, after the next day, which I was a little surprised about. I mean, Cameron Munster did play very well, don't get me wrong, but there's another guy here that definitely deserved player of the match without a doubt. But yeah, Munster was good, just always dangerous. Cherry Evans, we talked about, didn't have his best game, but I thought he was still fine. Like, he controls the team really well, defensively pretty strong, and you know, kicking game is always up there with the best. The forward pack was outstanding. I still think Jake Trbojevic is the biggest plotter of all time. I think they could. I know there's a lot of people that love Jake Trbojevic, and there's a lot of people that don't like Jake Trbojevic. I gotta be honest. I'm on the band of not liking Jake. I mean, I like him as a player. Like, he's a good guy, and I mean, he's a very good player. But I just don't think he's an international level player, dude. Like, He's good defensively, but man, he really doesn't offer too much. But, you know, I'm being a little harsh. I don't know. I just think there's better options than Jake Trbojevic as a starting prop. But he was fine. Ben Hunt, I just, you know, I know there was talk about the Ben Hunt Harry Grant combo. I just think it's the best combo. You know, I think they're the best two dummy halves. Like, Coruscant, obviously, he could have got in the squad. But I do like it that he's playing for Fiji, so I think that's just better. Damien Cook, you know, I think Ben Hunt and Grant is just better combo than that, really. So Ben Hunt plays the first stanza, you know, does some good stuff. Good kicking game honestly, a great kicking game from dummy half. Has some versatility. If a half goes down, he can go into the halves. Yeah, I just really like that combo. And he started going great. Big Tino was outstanding. Angus Crichton and Jeremiah Nana. Honestly, the back rowers were phenomenal. Angus Crichton and Nana just gave Fiji such a tough time on the edges. Yeah, I thought the back rowers were probably the best forwards in this contest. They were just causing all sorts of havoc. I was watching the replay of this one. I didn't actually listen to the commentary when I was watching the replay. But that second no try to Nenai, why was that a no try? I was watching it and I was like, isn't that a try? Like, I honestly don't even know what happened. I was sort of watching it, half watching it and not. But it looked like it was a try. I don't know. It was very confusing. Maybe they called him short, but the ball, you could see the ball on the line. But regardless, I don't know. Nenai was outstanding. Cameron Murray was phenomenal as well. And that's the thing, like, I guess a full-strength team as AEO does go into lock, but man, does that mean Cameron Murray goes into the back row? Probably. He probably goes in the back row for Crichton, or maybe Nenai. Nenai could go to the bench, I guess. But I think Crichton is probably more versatile to go into the middle potentially. But man, I don't know. I do love Cameron Murray at lock. I don't know. I guess you got to find a spot for his AEO when he's, you know, back into the full strength team, I guess. The bench was great. Jack White, you know, full strength, we'll see what they do with the bench. I don't really, you know, having Harry Grant, obviously Grant is going to be the 14 and or the 20 with their stupid numbering. But obviously Grant is going to be the you know, the main dummy half, but coming off the bench. But does, you know, Jack White on the bench really make much sense? Probably not going forward. Obviously, they're going to change the team a lot in the coming games against the weaker teams. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with the bench for their, you know, for their big games. But White was good. You know, played well in the centres when he went on. I think he went into the halves when Munster, I think Munster had a spell. Or was it Cherry Evans? I don't know. One of the two had a spell, and Jack One did a decent job. Pat Carrigan was outstanding on debut. Ruben Cotter, unfortunately, he was looking really good. Copped a bad knock. Fucking Kamikamitha. Fucking Gumby old Kamikamitha with the head clash there. So Cotter obviously going to have to sit out for a week, which is fine because they're not going to need him for next game anyway. But hopefully he's good for the remainder of the tournament because it was a bad knock. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Cotter can back up in a couple of weeks and continue because man, he's good. But yeah, the best player by far was Harry Grant. Australia was looking, like I said, they were looking a bit scrappy. They were looking a bit disheveled at times, but as soon as Harry Grant came on the pitch, oh my, he's just so good. He's so good. Like I said, Ben Hunt has a great kicking game. Harry Grant, exceptional as well. He kicked a 40-20. He's set up, I don't know, he got like 2 or 3 try assists. Like just every time he picks up the footy, like he's just such a threat. Like he's got the running game of like Coruscant, but he's got the, like, his passing from dummy half is the best in the league, best in the world. He's unbelievable. He is so good. He just, every time there's a sniff, he's just off and away. And it works so well with having the likes of Munster, Tedesco at the back, just plays off the back of a Grant so well, just because they're always around the ruck. So yeah, Grant was outstanding. He definitely deserved player of the match. I can't believe he didn't he didn't get player of the match. And then on the flip side, Fiji, like I said, they're putting up a decent effort. They scored that, first nice try. It was a nice little kick by the 5'8". Kevin Nagama. Was it Nagama? Was it Valame? Who was it? It was Valame. Yeah, Valame scored it. It was a nice little start to the game. Taruva, I thought, at the back. It was a hard game to get into, but he, ran the ball strongly, got involved. Scored a nice try at the back end of the game. Micah Sivo, you just want to see Sivo get fired up a bit more. Get fired up, big fella. Other guys, Nagama, Valame, they're all pretty solid, the guys. I thought Brandon Wakeham at 7 played a decent game. It's always going to be their tough point, Fiji, their halves going forward. They're not going to have the star halves. Like, they got a good forward pack, they got a good back line, but the halves are always going to be a bit of an issue. Api Coruscant, Coruscant and Kikau, obviously they're star players. Bit of an off night. Few errors. Coruscant came up with a couple of poor mistakes. Kikau also came up with a couple of poor mistakes, and he just couldn't get involved. That's the biggest issue. Like I said, the halves. Kikau just didn't really get any good. He just didn't get any good footy. I don't know how many runs he ended up with, but it wasn't many. It wasn't many. Like, I don't really remember seeing him make any sort of dent, any attacking play. They didn't get him sort of any decoy runs or anything like that. So they got to try to get Kikau involved a bit more. He just wasn't really a factor. I thought, Kamikamitha, Vuniya Yawa, their forward pack was solid. Wong, I actually thought Sia Wong, the other back row, was really good. And also the lock, Manuel Lialavava. I know I'm butchering his name, but I thought their forward pack was pretty good. Nakaboy off the bench, Sadrugu, like they had some decent impact, but yeah, just missing that polish all across the board. Let's actually have a look at Kikau's. And that's right, NRL.com doesn't really have good stats. Ridiculous, but whatever it is, we know Kikau did not get involved like he should have. But yeah, I thought Australia, they were obviously going to win that game. And like I said, Fiji, man, it's just disappointing. The team that they could have had going to this tournament, I was very much looking forward to I was very much looking forward to Fiji going into this comp. But, you know, I still think they can do some good stuff. Australia, a bit too classy, and obviously they're going to just continue to improve. You know the next couple of games against the weaker teams, their team is going to be completely different. They're going to try out some things for sure, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the World Cup reviews here. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.